So how is everyone? How is everyone? All right. That's what I'm talking about. It really is a pleasure for me to be back in Portland, but for me to be here at Tribal Spirit, at Earth and Spirit. So I am from a Dagara tribe in Burkina Faso, one of the smallest countries, tucked between Ghana and Ivory Coast. It's a landlocked country, so if you don't know about it, it's okay. Sometimes when I tell people I'm from Burkina Faso, they say, what? It's the name of an animal? I say, it looks like it. But in this small country, French-speaking as its official language, because we have 60 languages with 60 tribes, yes. Not counting the dialect. And that is a whole different ballgame altogether, because sometimes you cannot even understand, the dialect that they're speaking. And in this community, they're not really different from other indigenous communities around the world, except that maybe they're a little bit crazier. In fact, the Dagara people are called the wild people, the one who is always going away. We don't have hierarchy in the community. We do have elders, and the elders are very important. The elders, along with the children, create a stable environment for all of us to have some form of sanity. And so for us, children are the messengers from spirit, or in fact, spirit, coming to test our genuineness, our willingness, and our sincerity. And so when a child appears at your door, you don't ask, whose child is this? You take care of the child first, and then you start to find out who it is, because spirit might be taking the form of a child, showing up in front of your door, and if you neglect this child, then you have to answer to spirit. And so in the same way, the elders are important because they hold the vision of the community. They help not only pave the way for us, but they also help to inspire or jumpstart us, so that we can also begin to bring our gift into the world. And so what is this thing about fanning the fire of the community? Why, community altogether? We have been talking about communities for ever and ever, and the topic still comes. So what is it about communities that we need to talk about community? You see, if you went to my village with this question, they will tell you there's no answer. Just stop asking questions and live it. That's as simple as that. You see, in the village, it's about doing. There is a need for something, just get up and do it. So don't sit and talk about it. You drive everybody crazy. And so community, how do we define community in such a diverse world? In such a world where some of us are born in Europe, and then we come here, and some of us are born in Oregon, and then we find ourselves in Alaska, and some other wander around, they go to California, and then, it's very complicated from that point onward. But there is something important about community, and that's why we keep on coming back to it. In my tradition, community is the guiding light behind any being, any person that helps that person or being achieve their life purpose. For without a community, an individual is lost without a place to contribute, without a place where the light can be shone upon them. And so I believe that is that very piece that creates that longing for us, the longing for the community. Who can see me? who can accept me, not tolerate me. Because you only tolerate when you don't know what else to do not to kill the person. It's true. And so community basically goes into the really nitty-gritty of our human need. It is at the core of our human existence, because upon community comes relationships. And we all know that healthy relationships are at the heart of every human life. Without a healthy relationship, we will continue to do therapy until we die and come back and die again, and nothing is going to change. And so what we are yearning for is basically a place that will give us that home, not just a physical home, because a lot of us have homes, and we even have alarms in them, and sometimes we go back, the alarm is still on, and we're still looking in the closet in case someone got in there. Yeah? So the home we are really longing for is not something that is outside somewhere. The home that we are looking for is actually in the heart, in the soul of other people out there. And so this notion that you cannot go back home is true. And it is also true that you can go home. And so how do you go home in a context where you don't have a physical home? You can go home to the heart of the people who hold you in, or who have always held a space there for you. It doesn't matter whether you have well behaved, it doesn't matter whether you are the craziest child they have ever seen, but as long as someone has a space in the heart for you, you will always go home. And so that's why in the Dagara tradition they say either we are all going to go home or no one goes home. And that is why, people who are homeless really help us to look at our own homelessness. It's not because we live in a home that we don't feel homeless. We still feel that longing for someone to recognize who we are beyond, the need for other people to make us what they want us to be so they can feel comfortable. But people who really know that there is a spirit in this person, that there is a spirit that has come with a purpose, a spirit with a purpose that whose gift needs to be received so they can be freed. Because if we are not here with spirit, with gift, then what are we doing here? And so the part of the fanning of a community fire is to find that gift within the community where we belong, the gift that our community must receive. And that is part of the reason why we're continuously creating clubs, why we're continuously looking for one more degree, hoping that it's going to now give us permission to go out and live our purpose instead of making a living. Because those are two separate things. In a context where your gifts are valued, where what you bring is exactly what the community needs, you don't need to make a living. All you need to do is to be yourself and live your purpose. And that is part of the reason why the government doesn't like artists very much, because because they don't conform, despite the fact that they have created all kind of mold to beat them into them and stomp them into them. They still manage to escape, and they continue to do what they need to do. But thank God for it, because if they don't create art, if they don't make art, we'll all go crazy. Art is what breathes heart into the community. Art is what keeps us sane. And so, so how do we then create the space for the artists? How do we create the space for the children? How do we create the space for the elders, and for us. And is that a possible thing in this mobile community? Well, we'll find out.